Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. So my name is Ajay, and let's start this right away. So today we have a situation where I have to calculate the each of the zone, the total quantity, but there is a condition that the category has to be toys. So we will actually go and use here different approaches. First of all, we will see that how I can achieve this using Excel. Then we will see that how we can use this using Python. Okay, and then we will see that how we can do this using VBA, which is Excel VBA, and then we will check the Power Query, how I can use the Power Query. Okay, all of these courses are available on my website, which is www.ajayparmar.com. If you want to go and give it a try, you can go and purchase the course. Anyways, the point is that why we are doing this, guys, because you see, especially those who are fresher, who want to be a data analyst, or people who are in this industry but they are not that efficient in doing the data analysis, in making the reports, in crunching the data, in structuring the data. They always get confused that which particular option, which particular feature or tool they should learn. Well, in my opinion, please learn all of them, because that will give you a lot of flexibility as to when you want to switch from one tool to another tool. You can do that very easily. All of these tools have their own you can say pros and cons, right? So we will discuss all these things, how we can achieve this particular task by using these different skill sets. For me, they are all wonderful. Okay, and I know all of these four, and I always try to learn more and more. So let us first of all start this with the using the Excel. I hope you have understood the question. Right, now using the Excel, it's very simple, because if I want to populate these numbers for the item sold for the zone, for each of the zone basically, so I can simply go and create here a summary report, where I can just go and mention here east, west, all the zones, north and west, right? Sorry, south. So these are the zones, and this is where actually we want to go and check the sales. What is the sale done? And of course, the criteria is that the category has to be toys, only the toys, not any other category. So you know that in this case we can easily go and use the SUMIFs, isn't it? So I will go and say that SUMIFs, and you have to first give the sum range, which is this, and then the criteria range 1. So in the criteria range 1, I'm going to use this the zone range, and then we will use the criteria 1, which is obviously the east zone. Okay, this video is from nowhere is going to be meant for the beginners or those who are totally fresher. Okay, this video is meant for only those professionals, students who actually have a basic idea about all these things. But still, even if you are fresher, you should go and actually see the things, how the different skill sets, the platforms we are using for the same solution, right? So criteria 1 is done, and then the criteria range 2. So in the criteria range 2, I'll provide the category, and then in the category I will say that okay, so here I just need one thing, which is toys, because category is standard, so I'm not going to do any I'm not going to use any cell reference for that. So this way I should be able to actually get my east zone sale from the the data, right? So let me go and drag this, and I think these are the numbers. Now we can quickly go and cross check. So let me go and see the east zone. So if I put the filter here, and now if I put the one more filter here, you can use the pivot as well. Of course, I know many of you will be asking me in the comment section that can we not use the pivot? Yes, you can use the pivot also. So you see, but pivot I prefer if I have to give sort of drop down through pivots. I want to create a look, maybe a sort of a data. If I'm asked to create a a summary of a data, or maybe a dashboard type of thing, then I will go for the pivot. But if it is just about populating the numbers, I can just go and use the SUMIF. So you see that here I have got here a number which is the 39, I guess, right, from the east zone. So 39 is a number, and this is what exactly the number is. Fine. Wow, so fantastic. So the thing is that Excel part is done. Now how I can actually go and do this using the Python. So in other words, we are saying that do we have any SUMIF in the Python? Well, in the Python we don't have a SUMIF function, but then we can use the Python its own group by statement, its group by function, right? So let me take you to the Python. So this is the tool I'm using, PyCharm. Okay, you can use this any other idle as well. That's not the problem. You can use a Jupyter notebook as well, or whatever you're using. All right. So the first thing is that we just to use this, we have to go and first of all use the pandas library for this. Okay, so I'm going to create a shortcut for the pandas, which is PD. Now, what are the libraries basically? Now, library is not a new concept, guys, in programming language. You pick any language and you'll find the term, quite a lot. We use this term a lot. I will tell you this in the Excel VBA also. First of all, let's see that how we can do this in the Python. Okay, so library basically it's nothing. It just you can say it's a kind of uh, um, a platform. It's a place where you can get more and more functionalities. On the individual level of our programming, sometimes the programming is not able to offer you each and everything whatever you demand, right? So the external libraries, they help us in providing those extra tools, right? For example, when you buy a car from a market, then a car is given to you, right? You bought the car and car is looking fantastic, it's a very good car. But now let's say you want to actually have some modification in your car. You want to maybe go and apply some extra, what you call those wheelers on your car tires, so those wheelers is something which company doesn't provide you by default, but you can go to any dealer shop and you can just buy those the what you call that, I think the car rim, the tire rim, right? That is the word, I think. So the point is that the structure of the car is made in such a way that you can go and apply any other extra accessory from that, you can purchase from the car dealer and you can apply on it. Because even those dealers which are sitting in the market, they know that what is the alignment of a, what is the circle size of a tire. And if somebody has to, let's say, maybe have some seat covers, maybe a different seat covers you want to go and have it on your car, then you know that those seat covers also comes with the standard size, isn't it? So the thing is that original car also, the design of the original car is also created in a manner that if you want to go and do any type of additional work on your car, those things are available, right? Those things are going to automatically be going to be suitable for those the inbuilt structure of the car, right? Same way, Python or any language, that's a basic language. With that language we go and work, but in addition to modify the codes, in addition to use the extra functionalities, we go and use these uh, libraries, right? So these libraries are always compatible with the original the Python core fundamentals, the Python core language. Okay, so this is how the library actually works. So once this is done, the first thing which we want to do is obviously we want to go and first of all have the Excel data. Now for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called df, which I call it as a data frame actually. So using this, now you see the PD is the shortcut of the panda. So why I'm using the PD? Because this allows me to read the use these all functions. So this is all the extra work, right? The extra modification which you want to do on your car. By default, Python doesn't offer you these things, right? So now I can use and say that, okay, I want to read the Excel data. Now for that, I have to take you to my the file, and this is the file dummy shop data. I'm just going to go and copy this data, and let's see that where is the path of this file. So yeah, so let me just copy this. Okay, all right, so now let me go here. So what you have to do is simply double quote and print the file. And because this folder, this the desktop is my Python, the project is not stored, is not saved in the same at the location. So just go and prefix here so that it can go and read the data. Now the moment let me quickly do this. So I'm just going to read the data frame here, and I want to show you something. See this. If I go and run this, right, what is going to happen? Let's first of all see that. So here, you by default, if you're not going to provide any sheet name here in the Excel, it's going to pick the first sheet, right? So if I double click here, right, but you see the data which I see here, it's actually not coming correct, because you see some unwanted numbers over here. Now first of all, why these numbers are coming? Well, this is coming because when you import the data from the Excel, what happened actually, you know that we have created some formulas. So when the entire file the Python is trying to read, basically Python is including these headers as well, right? So in this case, either you can delete this data obviously, right? But sometimes, let's say you can't afford to delete the data. You have this data here and you really want this data to be saved here, right? So at that point in time, what you can do when you are importing the data, you can specifically mention the columns here, and that is also something very easily we can do. So let me just copy this, all these columns quickly. And so what you're actually going to do is you're going to use here a column, a parameter called use columns. Okay, and I'm just going to paste them here in this way. Obviously this is going to be converted to a list because these are the multiple values, so everything has to be in this way as I'm writing double quotes. Okay, now, this was very important point. This has nothing to do with our project, but I thought, let me share this with you, isn't it? Because you may come across this type of a problem when you're trying to import the data and then you see, well, the Excel sheet is giving me some maybe a a weird sort of the stuff. So this might be the reason that you have entered something extra on the sheet, and which is why when you're importing the data the problem is coming, right? Now please remember that there's another parameter which we can write if you want, but by default, since Excel picks the first sheet, this the reader picks the first sheet of the Excel, which is fine for me because that is what I need. But still, you always remember that you can always write here the sheet name as well if you are targeting second or third or fourth and so on, like that. You are picking the different sheets, right? You want to pick the different sheets, but by default it's always going to pick the first sheet, and in our case it's the first sheet. Okay, anyways, so this is done. Right now I want to show you, actually let me first of all run the code and let's see that if now we are able to see the correct data or not. Okay, so these are the fundamentals, and so let's see that. So there's some problem here. I don't know what is the problem. Sheet name is spelled correctly, and okay, so let's quickly go and see. Yeah, so I think I forgot to put here the one skip bracket like this. Yes, because this has to go as a list. So let's run this and bingo. Fantastic, guys. So you see, now we have got the data. Now what is the next thing? See, the next thing is that we can easily go and use the group by here, right? Now the point is that, let me show you the group by also. The thing is that if you use simply the group by, so how I'm going to say that? So I'm going to say that, okay, so I just want here, this group by, and obviously you want the group by on the zone, correct or not, right? Now, when you use the zone, and the next field which you will go and write here is that, so first of all, this is to be a open parenthesis, close parenthesis. You see, I go and say that item sold, right? On this, I just simply want to sum. This is how the grouping will happen, and we should be able to see the zone wise the total, right? First of all, let's see that. Let's go step by step. So after the data, I don't see here the number. I mean, the group by is not worked. Actually, I forgot to put the opening and closing parenthesis. I'm sorry. Let me rerun the code. Now, when you run the code, you see that you are able to actually get the report. But this is actually on the overall level. This is not for the category of toys. Remember that, right? So now the next step you have to do is in the Python, you have to go and set the criteria. Now there are different ways of doing it. I can go and do this in the one line also. I can create a line and I can just go and get these the right numbers here. But let me show you actually step by step. So what you can do is you can set up the criteria here first of all, and this is how we will go and pick the category, the field, right? So you see, first of all, you can pick you can say that basically we are putting here a filter. You can say the category actually has to be toys in this way, and then because we want to see the data, so this is how you go and put one more data frame. So now this criteria actually holds the values of the zone called the category called the toys. So if I just have to confirm that is it actually correct or not, you see, we go and run this, and now you can see we have only the toys category, right? So basically the plan is that now this is basically a variable, or you can say a data frame which is holding the values of the toys, right? So now what you can do is once this is applied, then we can further go and use the group by statement on this very data, right? So this line which we have written over here, this line, particular line, right? So I can simply say that, okay, so let's do one thing. Maybe I can just write here that the same variable data frame, right? And so we don't need now anything to print. So first of all, we have filtered the data. Once the data is filtered, then we are actually going to go and apply the group by. Okay, you got the point, right? So now this data which is inside in this df, the variable, on that variable we will go and apply the group by, and we are going to add the item sold. So now you will see that the numbers are the numbers which are coming, these are the same numbers which we actually have calculated in the Excel. So if I go back here and I show you, you can see that East 39 and West 13 and 22 and 29. So 39, 22, 29 and 30. Look at this stuff, right? So this is how in the just 2 steps you can go and use the SUMIF in the Python. Okay, now of course, now the next question is that, as I was telling you that, so what I will actually generally do is that I will simply go and say that, okay, see, for me it's like this, that I simply want to go and print the report. So I'm just going to say that, okay, so here we will directly go and write the, first of all, the criteria. So the criteria actually is the category, and in the category you will write double equals to, and then we will say the category is toys, right? Now on this very data, once this data is comprising the toys, I will simply go and start writing here the group by. You can see that here the group by, it's very easy, right? And then we will say that, okay, so we want to go and apply the group by on which field, zone, and then what we want to do after the zone is grouped, we want to actually capture the items sold, right? So basically I can simply go and copy this and I can paste it here. Okay, so in this one line R2, we just go and we can achieve this the results, right? So if I now go and print my the data frame, it should actually go and give me the the right value. Or in fact, I think the better way is that you don't say that print, but just leave it like this. Okay, and in the next line we can say, okay, now we will go and see the value in the data frame. So now we should see here again the same the result, right? Look at this here, 39, 22, 29, 30. So now you understand that why people actually are preferring the Python language, because basically this language, everything is done, most of the things are done in just one or two syntaxes, right? If you have to do the same thing in the VB, the approach will be very different, right? Now I'm not saying that which this language is better or VB is better than Python. As I say that, it's always like, if you have more languages in your pocket, then you can always choose the best language, which is when you're working on a project. So which language you should go and use, it depends, because VBA is also very powerful language. Now if we have to do this in the VBA, then how I can do that? Okay, see, the thing is that in the VBA everything follows actually step by step. In the Python, basically, if you see most of the codes, they have a direct syntax. So there's no actually for sort of what you can say that, if I have to go and test this code, well, based on your experience only, you will be able to find out the errors if this line gives you some error, because here we don't have those debugging tools. I mean, of course Python also has a debugging tool, but for that you have to download a different tool, which I will talk maybe in some other video. But the point is that, if I go and apply this in because I'm doing everything over here in this what you call the file. So if I have to visualize the things, I have to see that how I'm going to go and do the testing. When I'm going to do the testing, I want to see the results. I think in that case the VBA actually is better than Python, because I can see what is happening inside, in the front of the screen, right? But again, both languages are great. So if I have to now go and do the same project, how we are going to do this project using the VBA? See, first of all, you have to go and refer to the sheet. Okay, now in here you don't have to import the data, obviously, right? Like in Python we had imported the data, right? But because this is an integral part, VB is an integral part of Excel, so you just have to select the sheet and that's it, right? Now here also, if we have to apply the, let's say you want to publish these numbers here in sales here through VBA, right? Now here I can take the help of my loop. Like for example, this loop starts from 11th row. You see, this is the 11th row, so this goes from 11 to 14. So what you can do is you can quickly go and create some variable here, and you can just go and say it starts with 14 and it stops at, let's say, 17, right? So we're going to use actually the for loop. In Python also we have the for loops, by the way. So 11 to 14 is the plan, right? So 11 to 14, sorry, let's go back here. Yeah, 11 to actually 14, I'm sorry. Yeah, 11 to 14. Okay, so when this program is going to run, the plan actually is that, we will target the M column. So I can simply go and say range, and then I can say M, and it has to be concatenated with J, because J will keep on changing. So first, when the J is 11, this becomes M11, isn't it? And then you will simply go and write here the SUMIF, or, I mean, the whatever the function you want to write. If you don't see the parameter names here when you write the open parenthesis, it means that you have to go and fix the class over here, which is worksheet function. Okay, because this class actually offers these functions. Okay, so if I now apply the SUMIF, you can see I have got the SUMIFs. Right now, again, it's the same thing as you do in Excel. So because in the VBA you don't see the parameter name so clearly, they come by like argument 1, argument 2. So you can see here that basically the first range is the sum range, right? So I can quickly go and write this in the VBA sum range, and then, so first is sum range, and then after that criteria range, and then the criteria 1, and so on, right? Very simple, correct or not? So what is going to be our sum range? Well, our sum range actually is here 8. It's actually range. So let's go and define the range from E to E whatever. So I'm just going to write here E100, for example, or maybe 1000, right? So this is our sum range, and then comma. And now what is the another range? So the another range now is going to be the zone, right? Which is C2 to C1000. Okay, depending upon your data, you can increase or decrease the range. You can keep the buffer as well. I mean, in advance, you can keep this range higher, because it means that if you have tomorrow, if you have more number of the cells uh, with the data, then this range will take care of it. So anyways, so this is done, and now after this I have to go and provide the argument 3. It also clearly mentions here argument 2 as range, which means whatever you write, that has to be range, and that we have already provided. Now what is the next thing? The next thing is that argument 3. So in the argument 3, obviously we have to go and write the zone, right? Now zone actually is coming from which field? The zone is coming from K, right? Sometime it is going to be east, and then sometime it is going to be west, and it depends. So K is a column. Now K is a column, and so that's what exactly it is, and this will come from J variable, because you see the J is 11 to 14, right? So this is again done, and then again I will go and put the range. Now the next range actually is A2 to A1000. Okay, and now in that range I will simply go and put the category, which is toys, which is fixed. Now in VBA, case sensitivity matters when you basically go and write the if conditions. This is not a if condition, but I'm just telling you. Okay, so anyways, so I think now this is done, and I think the brackets are taken care of. So if we should go and if we go and run this, we should actually see the values over here. So can we go and check this? So let me just put this somewhere here on the top, and yeah, so now let's go and run this and see that what is going to happen here. First of all, I'm on the right sheet, that's very important, and now you see that it should actually it should print the value in the M11, which is this M11, right? So let's go and see that. So the 39 is coming, 13 is coming, 22 is coming, and look at this. Now please tell me, in this exercise, did you really find VBA very tough? No, it is not that. Only those people will tell you that, VBA is outdated or VBA is tough, which unfortunately they haven't actually learned the VBA in a proper way. Right, as I said, that VBA is a programming language which works on a step by step. You always have to write a step, and then, based on that step, the next step actually is calculated. Like for example, in this case also, you see this part was very important, right? So for me, putting all this in a one syntax is not possible in VBA, right? But again, then you can see that it was very easy, right? So both the languages have its fun, right? And most of the time, people who say that VBA is not boring or VBA is tough, most of the time they are those who actually never learned VBA. They don't even know that what VBA can do, right? You can see my channel, it has more than 1000 videos, and I think half of the videos are on VBA in English and Hindi as well. Again, I think, in my opinion, you please go and learn all these languages. It's fantastic. Okay, so VBA is done, Excel is done, Python is done. Thank you so much. And now the Power Query is left. So in the Power Query also, what we can do is we can we can take this data in the Power Query. Let's go and do this, right? In by no means, I really want to hurt anyone's sentiment. I apologize if you're feeling bad, but what I'm telling you is that is totally based on my experience, right? Like if I start telling you about the Java, which I have never taught, I don't even have any idea about the Java, and I say that Java is not good or Java is excellent, then I think it's very dishonest, the discussion which I will have with my students. Okay, so it is all about my experience. Of course, you can ignore this advice. The first thing actually is that we simply go and say that select the toys. Once the toys is selected, right, in this category, now we will go and pick the zones. So you will simply go in the home tab and you say that you want to actually group. Now in this time we want to group, and we want to group what? So that is something we have to decide. So our grouping actually is going to be done on the zone, right? Once this is going to be done, then what is the next thing I want to do? Well, I think the next thing which we actually want to do is that, first of all, this is total sale. Okay, and this actually should be done on the item sold. This is what we need, isn't it? So we will go and say that, okay, so I want to sum this, and I want to sum the operation. I want to apply the sum, and I want to apply this on the item sold, right? And let's click OK, and let's see that what we are going to get here. Oh wow, fantastic. Now you can take this output obviously back to the Excel, and you see this is how you you can do all these things in the Power Query as well. All right, now you can do this using the SQL also. You can do this using the MS Access database also. You can maybe you can use the Google Sheet as well. I mean, there are thousands of the things, and there are thousands of the things which even I do not know. Who knows, maybe this can be done by using some other tool also. But the point is, as a data analyst, you got to learn as much as you can. Never be choosy in the topics. Of course, I don't mean that you should learn something outdated, but yes, these are the things which definitely one should learn. Very important from the data analysis perspective. All right, so I hope you have enjoyed my efforts, and now I will see you in my next lecture. Thank you so much.